Good day, good people, great people, and welcome to CertaPro Painters. Oklahoma City presents Who's to Blame, the podcast. This is episode 549. Episode 549. Hope everyone is doing well today, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching the live streaming version of our Who's to Blame page, thank you so much. If you tune in on X, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, really appreciate it. Don't forget to tune into our website or check it out, www.dremontez.com. And don't forget, Monday through Friday, available on Facebook, X, and YouTube. You can check out our daily show, Montez at Midday, coming to you live, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. How is everyone doing today? It is magnificent weather. This is the type of weather where things can get done around the house. This is before the big time cleanup that your parents made you do when you was a kid. You know, you had to participate in the family cleanup. Whether it was yours or not, it was time to clean up the house and get it ready for the spring and summer. There it is, America. But how is everyone doing today? If you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday to you. If you're celebrating a wedding anniversary, or just an anniversary on your job or your living situation, congratulations. You deserve it. You did it. And if you're off today on vacation, shout out to my dude B, who's celebrating a vacation. He's taking a whole week off, people. When you take a whole week off and you planned on having a staycation, you can take care of some business that way as well. So shout out to all those folks right there. We have high fives in the building. We're raising the roof. We chest bumping. And we're hugging it out all at the same time while enjoying day baseball as our St. Louis Cardinals are taking on the Oakland A's. That whole baseball situation with the town of Oakland is, for fans of a particular sport, when you lose a player, like they're done, their career is over with. You lose a player to trade. You lose a manager. Your team moves. All of that really bothers you as fans. It really bothers you. And then the ugly side of it, when you hear the reasons a team want to move, the tax implications due to want to be on a greener pasture, so to speak. But who's to blame? We'll get into all of that today on the show. Let's get through our pillars of the day. Let's let it go. Ignore them. Give it time. Don't compete. Stay calm. It's on you. And laugh. Here's some laughable moments we've experienced since the eclipse. Just think about everything that has happened the week before the eclipse up until right now. Just think about it. There's been some comical things out here going on. I'm going to put it in the world that we don't have no control of it. I mean, the people with all the money make all the decisions. That world, that entertainment and sports world. It has been a doozy, or as they say in the South, a doohickey mahoo. It's been one of those Southern sayings of the past couple of weeks since the eclipse. I've been noticing that for sure. Well, we got through it. We survived. We survived another sports draft. The WNBA draft kicked off Monday night. But that's not just the talk, the WNBA money situation. From outside, it looked like it's a horrible situation when you hear the figures of a 4-year deal of the likes of a Caitlin Clark, the $333,000. Okay. And you look at the NBA and you see what that average salary is like. And I know what you're saying. It can cause arguments. It can cause some hateful shit being said. But if you know what's going on, you can pretty much understand it. Whose responsibility to make sure that this does not happen and keep happening to women in sports? But here's the situation. The WNBA as a league loses money every year. And the NBA kicks in and helps them cover that loss as part of the deal of being the WNBA, part of the NBA. but they split their revenue with the players. That's how they pay the players. That's what the NBA does. Now the NBA, they up their ante to up almost $10 billion throughout the league. But the NBA is totally different than the WNBA. You very seldom heard of a WNBA sellout in the past 5 years. Maybe the venues they're using, do they have to be that big? Maybe they're going to change some of the matchups, some of these players that were drafted in this past draft. I know the Indiana Fever is going to be on more televised games this year, so that could help. The viewership, it has nothing to do with male versus female here. What needs to happen is these television deals for the WNBA. But if you keep looking at the success of college basketball the past 5 years, how can they take that exact same platform and somehow navigate that to make sense with the WNBA moving forward? Based on everything that happened with the numbers, the data that we learned this past year in women's college basketball, can they use any of that data to help the WNBA? What can be done that's within the guidelines of the sport, within the guidelines of the athlete, in the viewership of the game? Not saying sell it as a circus, make a mockery of the game, nor the women playing the game. It's still basketball played at a very high level. But what can be done to help with the large gap in the money line without having to play in the WNBA and playing overseas? Without doing all that, can the future of the WNBA keep its players here, or is it still going to be needed? They must go overseas as well in order to have a decent income. Because the more and more I'm thinking about this, it's starting to make sense how this can be fixed. You know how they used to give this to us in school in math class. They will give you a scenario and what's the best way to go about completing this scenario that we've been put in. So, but the scenario of the WNBA, we know television is big. We know streaming is big. We know people like to use their cell phones. They got to somehow involve the WNBA fans with the players through their phone, through an app or something. They got to get that constant communication going and do more events. We know the men don't do the sports clinics the way they used to do. They do them, but they're pretty much low key and they all just in one structured area, usually LA or Orlando or Hawaii. But for the women, if they put it more, make the game more approachable to the new fans, to the fans we're bringing over from college basketball into the WNBA to watch the next rising star, the next rising stars of the league. If they can somehow curve that connection and make that connection a little bit better, I think they would be onto something. But just showing marquee matchups with last year's highlights when they were in college, that's not enough. As good as college basketball was for women the past 5 years, I think what the WNBA has right now with the players they especially got in the past 3 drafts, I think the WNBA can be more successful moving forward, just marketing this thing the right way. They have the players. They have the talent. They have the names, household names, recognizable faces. Now you got to make sure that the handoff is done well, but don't overdo it. Again, this is the WNBA. And the reason we're talking about this is due to the fact what happened in the draft Monday night. As soon as it comes out how much Caitlin Clark is going to be making, right there, stories go viral, conversations start. How can we close this gap? How can we help the WNBA not lose money moving forward? What can be done on their end from the owners, the president of the league, and the front office of some of these WNBA teams? It all can't be on the fans in the city all the time. Sometimes we need ideas from the people that put this team together, that went and scouted these players, that drew up the logo, that came up with the team name. Sometimes we need your input as well on what other ideas you foresee for the league getting better moving forward. If you're just stopping in and tuning by, it is another magnificent podcast episode, and we're just getting started right here. We're just getting started because there's so many things going on that require to talk about it out loud, bring more awareness to it. Upgrading in sports. This one hurts here because it's going on nationwide. We're not saying teams are tanking to get a better grip on the city when it comes to taxes or upgrading. We're not complaining that we know for a fact the sports teams have a lot of money. You have a lot of money, and you would think when you're asking for stadium upgrades, why is it the city's responsibility? Why isn't that more of a front office ownership, people above our pay grade? Why don't they deal with that? Why is it on the city when it comes to upgrading your sports team? And if the upgrades are coming more of a bully situation, and now you're faced with the fact to really look at the data of the numbers of the team, on the wins and losses, on the money the city makes on that team this year. It makes you dive deep into things like that to make it make sense to you. Because when you're around a successful sports team in a sports town, you're not blindsided by being very good. You're blindsided when there's nobody there. When a team is not winning or playing up to its full potential, questions arise. First, we get to question the players. Then we get to question the coaching staff. Then we're questioning the front office. What are we doing with this here? Then when there's no conversation back and forth to the fans or to the media, then we all in our own conspiracy mind of what's going on. But we see trucks in the middle of the night. We see that's a new sign up there. We saw that deal you posted in the paper. So when you're doing things like that, but now you don't want new lights. You just want to make the lights look better. Look upgrade. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to the city, as it being the city's responsibility, and then you go to the fans and say, what would you like to see this team look like in the next 2 to 3 years? And we tell you that, and you completely go in the opposite direction. What is a town and a city and a fan base supposed to think when things like that happen? Who's to blame? Whose responsibility is it for stadium upgrades of your local sports team? Is it the city, meaning taxpayers? Or is it fully on the owner of the building? If I want to upgrade here, do I get to go to a private fund and start a debate and a topic of discussions to help Dre upgrade? And if I don't, I can get some bullying tactics. I've been in a town where a sports team has left twice. I've been in a town where a new sports franchise came to. They both have horrible stories. What teams do to get in with the city, and what the city goes to when a team leaves. It's like the Hatfield and McCoys all over again, meaning it's nothing but bickering back and forth on who's right, who's wrong. A team should have the ability to do anything they want to. Well, teams should never get locked up in these large leasing deals with cities because no one's going to hold their end of the bargain. Who's to blame? It becomes a form of greed. We've seen it in a very negative way here in St. Louis, in a very positive way here in St. Louis. But it also leaves us with questions on how can one group do it this way and everybody's on board with it. But when it comes for a suggestion to do it this way, oh, we did it that way in the past. We're not trying to do things that we did in the past for it to work today. That makes no sense to me at all. I get it. You want to keep up with the Joneses, with the team and the winning and the glitz and the glamour of entertainment that goes with sports. But at some point, how much are we trying to invest in a sports team, players, and the building that they play their sports in? How much is too much? Look at some of these new ballparks and football stadiums. Can you just imagine if the Buffalo Bills get that stadium, the one that they showed us 2 years ago, if they get that retractable roof dome, what Buffalo Bill fan can afford to go to that? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. To have a building like that, a structure like that, hey, I think the owner need to pay foot the bill for that. If we can't afford to go to the games, what sense does it make? We're already going through it, all these streaming services at home. Now to go into this park with all these upgrades, sushi, oxtails and shit, that's not baseball food. What happened to baseball food? Who's to blame, huh? What? It's like when you go to a cookout. Certain things you have at a cookout. That other shit is not cookout food. It's not cookout food. Cookout food, ballpark food, football food, huh? What happened? When we were kids, they had foods that fit the particular sport. Do they have that today? No. Today, they're just doing anything they want to do. I think they're using this as guinea pigs again, and we're falling for it. They're getting us with the old nod factor, and we're falling for the same trap again. We cannot let them keep pulling this on us. Now, the WNBA pay scale, I don't think that's an overnight fix. That's going to need some television people to get involved, okay? We're going to need somebody to step up on that level with a TV package deal for the WNBA that's going to give them viewership as well as revenue sharing out of this, huh? That's what we're talking about right here. Who's to blame for that, huh? Ain't you, huh? Would you, people? And on to these upgrades at these stadiums and ball clubs. Just make it make sense to the city and the fan base. Don't be such a bully, meaning, oh, we're going to move our team to another town. Go ahead and try it. Try it. Try it. You talk about a city. There are a few things in movies I want to see made. I want somebody to make a movie about a city coming together because a sports team tried to move and the whole city came together in a way that's never been done before. See, I want to see that. See, that's something right there I could stand behind something like that. Because then that way we'll get to see both sides of the story. Right now, I think we're being blindsided on a lot of situations when it comes to the data in baseball. They're lying to us about everything. You see with the box with the strike zone, lie. Fraudulent activity, lie. Huh? The strike zone in baseball it is a dangerous joke that should be taken seriously, baseball. But hey, you're the ruler here. We're going to sit back and watch and see what happened throughout sports over the next 2 years on all these sports clubs and teams that are trying to go after the city and the fan base for upgrades and the ability to compete. Really? Really? Some of the most productive women sexually come out of some ratty ass houses as compared to the ones in the nice house. I'm just saying, we don't have to be so quick with the upgrades. Didn't we just get that damn place? We would definitely try to figure it out on our end here, being sports fans as we are. Willie and Dre, we're here with you with another exciting episode of CertaPro Painters. OKC, let the professionals do the work. Bringing you another award-winning episode of Who's to Blame, the podcast. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, as they say in the hood, I will talk to you later. Thanks again for tuning into the show. It has been a pleasure running my mouth with you folks. Until next time, peace. I'll let you later. And we out. All right, good people. We got the recording done, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Goes a long way. Until next time, have a good evening.